Welcome. I'm Chelsea Schwartz.
And I'm Sarah Carey.
And this is Streaming Wars, the show that helps you wade through the endless sea of streaming content. And for the very last time. No, we're not completely going away, but this is going to be our last full-length episode because we're going to switch to more bite-sized episodes for like Instagram Reels and TikTok videos and all of that fun stuff. So we hope you enjoy this very special last full-length episode as we continue. But you know, we're always full of surprises. Like last month, Apple TV Plus won. That was incredible.
I know, it's crazy. I blame Ted Lasso.
Yeah. So 10 more points for Ted Lasso. Not Apple TV, just Ted Lasso. But we've got a really interesting lineup today, Sarah. And where do you think this is going to see us at the end of the episode?
You know, I think it's going to go to Netflix. That's where I spend most of my time. I don't know about you.
You think Netflix? You know what? Netflix definitely has a lot of big hits from this month, but also Hulu coming out of nowhere. Like it could be a very close call between the two of them with some really great programming. So which service? You said Netflix you spent the most time on this month. Do you want to talk about more of what you've been watching?
Oh, Netflix. I jumped into like the final installment of Kissing Booth with Kissing Booth 3. He's All That reimagining, because I'm a huge, if you don't know, 90s teen movie fan, which we'll talk more about. I know, who knew? What? And then some other things that are coming in September that I can't quite talk about yet.
Well, I personally spent a lot of time on Paramount Plus, and I would like to give 7 points to Paramount Plus for actually having this incredible library. Like I've really been feeling their library lately. I know their originals are still filming and they're yet to come, and I'm looking forward to a lot of them that are coming much later next year. But that library really just like, I'm here for it right now.
They have a great library, I agree with you, but I'm taking away 3 points because I hate how to search for everything. Nothing's organized really well. The search is terrible, at least on how I stream with an Apple TV. Maybe it's better on other options, but that's why I don't jump
with an Apple TV as well. And I've actually recently realized that Siri voice command is genius on Apple TV. Because you can literally just say play Rocket Man and it will find it if you have the app on any platform and just start playing it. And I never have to type anything and search anymore. I was just like genius. So you know what? 2 points to Apple for that Siri technology in my Apple TV.
So I'm going to give Netflix has also been my comfort because as Chelsea knows, I was out working and gone. I didn't get to watch as much as I love to. So I did pull up Netflix. I finally watched the He-Man cartoon and a couple other things like Vampire Diaries. So I'm going to give Netflix 5 points just for bringing me comfort this whole month and giving me some new fun stuff.
Awesome. Well, speaking of Netflix, let's dive right in. And we've actually got some films to start out this month. Let's talk about He's All That.
I am so surprised by how much I enjoyed this reimagining. A lot of teen things are getting rebooted. They're not doing as good of a job. And you know what? He's All That was like, look, we're just going to give you basically the same movie, but we're going to gender swap it and then kind of make it our own in a couple other fun ways. And I absolutely loved it. I give Netflix 10 points for entertaining me, making me feel all the feels that I felt in the original movie and giving me the most iconic line, I'm a bet, and I am a bet. And I was very glad that was still in there.
You know, at this movie, definitely, I agree. I was surprised by how much it kept my attention, how much I was enjoying it. Literally, when I watch movies and TV shows at home, I often get distracted by my phone and start playing a game or something. And I was like, phone, go in the other room. I want nothing to do with you. What happened to Peyton? Like, do you remember Girl Meets World? And he was the sweet boy from like Texas.
Yes!
Like now he's like the awful douchey guy. And I was just like, wait, that's Peyton? Like what happened to you? Like not in a bad way, but just interesting. Annie Jacob was awesome. And I think she's the breakout star of this film. And I can't wait to see more from her. But also I have to give props to the wardrobe department for Tanner's outfits. Tanner, who is our lead, who gets the makeover, he wore a New York Dolls t-shirt at some point. You want to win Chelsea's heart, you tie the New York Dolls into anything. And yeah, you know what? I'm giving another 10 points to Netflix for this movie.
Yeah, and if people don't recognize Tanner, they should, because he's in Cobra Kai and does a great job in Cobra Kai. And they even brought in some of his like fighting into this movie,
Yeah.
which I thought
He
was
got a
so
chance to
fun.
show off those Cobra Kai skills, which was awesome. And speaking of Cobra Kai, they just got renewed for another season too.
Yeah, season 4, season 5. Where are we at now? 5. I was like, hold on, what's about to come out? And I also was surprised by Addison Rae. And I'm gonna say because she is being billed as a TikTok star. And I feel when we hear TikTok star, we hear model turned actor, even like actor, musician. We all have this idea in our head that they're already gonna be terrible. So your expectations are really low. But and not even because my expectations were low, she was just really good. She was so charming. I thought she jumped off the screen, and her chemistry with Tanner was fantastic.
And we have to give a shout out to Rachel Lee Cook and Matthew Lillard just for having appearances in the film as well.
This is my issue, though. I'm going to take away 3 points from Netflix because if you're going to have Rachel Lee Cook and Matthew Lillard, why are they not playing their characters from the movie? Well, she could have, like Paget could easily be Lainey's daughter, and they didn't make her Lainey's daughter. She's playing Rachel's playing a random character. And then how funny would it be if Matthew's character of this real world reject was turned into an educator? Like, I just think that's amazing.
It was
and then
really
he could have really let loose at the prom. So that's honestly my biggest issue with the movie, and that's why I took away 3 points.
Well, speaking of having issues with movies, Kissing Booth 3 was a giant disappointment for me. So let's just jump ahead into Kissing Booth 3 now. What did you think?
Oh my God. Netflix, -7 points for this garbage. Like, it had 12 endings. The story was so choppy. And I understand, like, the through line for Joey King's character is that she's coming into her own. A lot of us, I think, when we're younger and even as adults, do everything for others. It's just something that happens. And she is a character that was doing that. She's making decisions for her best friend, for her boyfriend. And, you know, kudos to the boyfriend for being like, you have to do stuff for you. And she finally does. And that should have been the story and not the 12 other things going on. And this movie is so long, Chelsea. It's so long. Yeah, no, another -3 points. I'm sorry. I'm like, I can't. This movie was also just really bad. It was so bad.
So I loved Kissing Booth 1 and 2. I really did. I could not wait for Kissing Booth 3. And I feel you, it was really long. It was too many things trying to happen to the point that I actually was having anxiety for her. Stop taking everything on. Stop. Like, you don't have to make everyone else's life dreams your dream and whatever. And honestly, this movie could have just been about her and her best friend getting through their bucket list and having the most epic summer. And there would have been enough within that to create drama. We didn't need, oh, Marco's back in the picture and a really jealous boyfriend who can't let it go that they could just be friends, and like just all of the, and then also his best friend from college coming in and causing whatever's going on. Just was not here for any of this. I will take that back. There was one moment I was here for. And so I'm going to take away 10 points from Netflix for this movie, but I'm going to add 1 back for that Mario Kart racing scene because that was awesome.
Awesome. I too am going to add another point back because that was great. But I'm also going to add another 3 points because Kissing Booth 1 was just so good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all good. Speaking of other films, though, that I actually thought were really good, The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf. This is the Witcher animated movie. It is not a series. It is a film that just hit on Netflix. I was not expecting much when they were like, we're going to make an anime. And I loved it. I was here for every second. Now, it's extremely gory. They got to do way more with this than they would have in a live action, which was cool. And I'm not taking away points for that. But if you can't handle much gore and stuff, you might want to stay away. But this is a prequel to where we meet Geralt. So this is like a long time ago Witchers, and Geralt's just like a child here. Like, he's just getting recruited. So you get to see this history to see really what it is to be a Witcher and where they came from. And this becomes super important in setting up season 2 of The Witcher. So if you do really like this universe they're building, you're going to want to see this anime. And I'm going to give 6 points to Netflix for this because it was well done.
Love that. I was watching an interview with the showrunner and she's like, we get to do so much more things with animation. And I'm a little worried because as much as I do love anime and I love animation, I don't want every prequel, every sequel, every spinoff to become a cartoon of sorts, because then I think that's a little bit lazy and allows them to do smaller budgets on the big live action things that we want to see.
I do have to
Giving
say,
points
though, that
or
like
taking away. It's just
you
my
get
thought.
some liberties with voice casting when you get into anime and animation, though. Graham McTavish playing a Witcher in the anime was perfect. And I love Graham. I don't know if I would have believed Graham as a Witcher in a live action. And I love that he is one here. So, you know, it can work. Which, speaking of epic voice castings and all those things, another great animation came out this month, Marvel's What If. It's right. Our multiverse is finally here and it's on Disney Plus and it's currently animated. It will eventually be more live action. But what do you think about What If?
I actually, I'm going to be honest, I did not get a chance to watch it. It's something I am very excited for and it's on my list. But so Chelsea, you're going to have to take this one away from me.
Totally fine. I was like, I am more than happy to do so. I will say, in terms of voice casting, not everyone we love returns. Like Chris Evans is not the voice of Steve Rogers, but the person they got to play Steve Rogers sounded exactly like Chris to me. And I was very confused by that. It was really, really well done. But the Captain Carter episode so far is my favorite by far. The T'Challa episode, which is Chadwick Boseman's last performance, was incredible. I am not a Star-Lord fan. I'm just going to put that on the record. And how T'Challa changes who Star-Lord is in this made me a Star-Lord fan for this one version of the multiverse, and I was here for it. Also, I cried at that tribute at the ending, just the in memory. It was a very, just like one screen with some words on it, but man, we're going to miss Chadwick forever. What a phenomenal actor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is a great series. It can go on for seasons and seasons and seasons, which is what I'm really excited for, because the idea of how we can change the story within Marvel to be anything and everything at any time and anywhere is never ending. And I'm here for it. I think the animation style is great. I love that they're incorporating the MCU actors for a lot of their roles. I love the Funko Pops that are coming out with this stuff as well, just as a side note. So I'm going to give 10 points to Disney Plus for just making my Marvel heart very happy right now as we wait for more from the multiverse.
I'm like, okay, 10 points. I see you. I will watch this. I will watch it.
There you go. All right. We need to get into some Hulu content, though, because Hulu,
yes,
every now and then they pop up. Like last month, we talked about McCartney 321, but we've got like several series that are just right on the nose. So good. This first one being 9 Perfect Strangers. First of all, these 9 Perfect Strangers are cast by like 9 phenomenal actors.
Like this show has no right to be as good as it is. Does that make sense? Like you've got, and like speaking of, because like please add on, we've got Nicole Kidman, Michael Shannon, I was going to call
Melissa
her Molly
McCarthy,
Shannon. Melissa
Luke
McCarthy,
Evans.
Samara Weaving, who's in everything. I've decided she just says yes, and every project she does is great.
But
yeah,
just like to say, it's always a travesty if you cast Luke Evans and don't allow him to sing, because that man has a phenomenal voice.
Yes. And we've got Jason from why have I just The Good Place. And I'm just like, love to see him do this. But this show it's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's people who need self-help who come to Nicole Kidman, who is this guru, who you learn has a very tumultuous past of her own. And they all go on this wild journey of self-discovery. And I know it's being billed as a dark comedy. I don't know if I see it as a dark comedy, but I am wildly entertained, and I'm only halfway through this season. So 10 points to Hulu, because this show is so good.
And I will tell you, as somebody who has gotten through the whole season, that it only gets better as you keep going. And I just love that they took such a cliche wellness retreat that we probably oversee and overuse too much now. And I don't mean that in a negative, because I am a self-care girl all the way and all here for the wellness. I was like, but where they take it, the weirdness that unravels while they also go through this deep self-discovery is really just impressive. Like it was a very interesting concept that works really well. So I'm going to give 7 points to Hulu for the show.
So good. I have no negatives. None. Not a single one.
I'm right there with you. I do have some negatives about Mr. Corman on Apple TV Plus, though. I don't know if you've gotten through the show.
I have not, because as much as I love JGL, I don't love JGLing all over everything. Does that make sense?
So if you don't know, Joseph Gordon-Levitt would be JGL.
JGL.
I've never heard the acronym before, and that's fun.
No, it's
So
like JTT.
Yeah, right. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt created, directed, stars in, and wrote Mr. Corman. This is a comedy series on Apple TV Plus. It is a half-hour comedy that feels like 90 minutes in every episode. Now, it is not necessarily a bad show. I'm going to give it 3 points in general, just for the series, and another point for Joseph Gordon-Levitt, because that's a lot of work, and good for you, sir. But I feel like the comedy is just missing the mark. I feel like the pacing is a little too slow. And sometimes when you are too involved in your own project, you don't see that. And you need another perspective. And maybe that's where this is falling flat. But A for effort.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take away 3 points from Apple TV because they are known as the quality over quantity. And I don't think this was good enough to be on their platform, personally.
Oh, wow. I mean, I do think it's quality, and the locations, the crispness of the editing style, it all matches the quality that Apple TV puts out. I just think that it's billed sort of like as dark comedy, and dark comedy isn't necessarily my forte. Mr. Corman's great for what it is. I recommend that you watch it, but you don't have to rush out and see it now. One of those days when you're bored and you need something off of a list, just add it to that list of things you could get to.
Yeah.
But definitely if you want something as a comedy that feels shorter, that is, you can sit down and binge and you won't even realize the whole day has gone by, Diary of a Future President Season 2 on Disney Plus is here.
I love this show. I loved the first season. It just gets better. And I like that Gina Rodriguez is in this season more than she ever was in the first
one. I was
like,
very confused that she was barely there last season. And like, I'm loving that she's the voice in her head now.
Love that. And I think this show is so good for young kids to watch because she is taking on so much. And like, is she little kids and kids of all ages have the negative and the positive voices going on in their head. And we still do as adults. And I think it's really great for actually all ages, not just young kids. So I'm going to give this show 10 points to Disney Plus because this show just got better and does not have a sophomore slump for me.
Yeah, and that's an incredible feat in itself, especially when you have such a kid-friendly show like this. And I will give this another 5 points because I very much enjoyed the second season. It is lighthearted. It's got great value to it, like family values, like personal values, all of those things. I hope it gets a third season.
Me too. Come on, Disney Plus, it's so good.
Right. And speaking of new seasons of things, Grace and Frankie, which has been way too long since we got more episodes of, dropped 4 episodes of the next season. So this isn't the full season. I guess they just decided that with the pandemic, it's been so long since there's been Grace and Frankie that they would give us a teaser. So we got 4 episodes and the rest will come next year at some point because they're still currently filming that season.
Wow.
And in the meantime, these episodes were just everything. Like this show just gets better and better. Like it starts off really good, but it ages like a fine wine and just continues to get even more fantastic, which I never think is possible. But everyone in this show, from, you know, our main leads of Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin down to like Peter Gallagher and Ethan Embry, are just fantastic. And I would like to give Netflix another 7 points for having this series, renewing it as much as they have, for its continuous quality, and also just for Jane and Lily being really respectful of COVID for the last year and a half, not wanting to start too soon, not wanting to start when we were in a peak, keeping their crew safe, all of those things. So much love for the show.
That's awesome. I did start watching season 1. I know I haven't watched it. I did start watching season 1 though, back when, like, during the pandemic, when I was trying to find things to watch, and I loved it. So I'm excited that they brought it back for another season.
And speaking of actors that have been around for a while that I'm excited to see on screen, this is probably the show I am the most excited to talk to you guys about. It's called Only Murders in the Building. It stars Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez. Unfortunately, only 1 episode has dropped by the time you're going to be watching this because episodes are coming out weekly. I've actually already seen the whole show, and I'm here to tell you that you are going to love every moment of this. Definitely the comedy comes from Steve and Martin, and Selena is sort of the straight man to these two. And I love that they played it that way instead of trying to make her as funny as well, but she's funny in her own right. This show is about lovers of a true crime podcast discovering and unraveling their own crime in their own building and then making their own podcast about it. And it's awesome. It holds everything that people that love true crime podcasts will like. It's got funny influencer sides of things too. Like if you know the influencer life, like just everything about it really hits the mark. You've even got older generation actors that are like retired and trying to still make it and have a career, and them learning how to date when they're older, and just all sorts of forms of comedy get thrown into it. And it's just executed brilliantly. I'm giving 11 points to Hulu for this show. That's right. It goes to 11. I can't wait for you guys to see this. All right, so that brings us to our quick beats. Not too much exciting news to get into this month, but it was the beginning of the TCAs. If you don't know what the TCAs are, this is the Television Critics Association. They happen twice a year. And this is where every network, including each of the streaming platforms, showcases what they will be dropping for the next 6 months. So we've got some really cool announcements that at least I'm personally excited about. Like we have a premiere date for season 2 of The Great. November 19th. This is still my favorite show of 2020. Get ready. The Great is almost here, and it's just as comedic and raunchy as ever. Then we've got a season 2 date of The Witcher, December 17th. So we finally have more Witcher. It's been a very long hiatus due to the pandemic, but that is coming by the end of this year. Fantastic. Brand new series brought to us by National Geographic, coming exclusively to Disney Plus, called Welcome to Earth with Will Smith, just like his line from Independence Day. This is a discovery show where Will Smith is taken around by National Geographic explorers, and they see hidden gems to the world around us and uncover mysteries. And it's really what I see is Will Smith being terrified and a human throughout this experience while he's put in extreme situations. And it's amazing. He is so charismatic. I can't wait for this show. Actually, another 4 points to Disney Plus for having this show, and another 2 to Hulu for having The Great, because every time I mention The Great, it needs more points. And then one final announcement from a platform we don't talk about ever. We've actually never talked about this platform, AMC Plus. That's right. AMC has their own streaming service, and they've got an original coming out called Kin, K-I-N, like family kin, like your kinship. Starring Aidan Gillen and Charlie Cox. That's all I need to say about the show, because it's Littlefinger from Game of Thrones and Daredevil in a show together, and everyone needs to see that. That's all I have to say. So congratulations, AMC. We're going to give you 4 points. Welcome to the streaming wars. You are now on the scoreboard. And then a final announcement, which actually didn't come from the TCAs, but I thought was worth sharing. The Food Network has their first original film, which is fascinating in itself. It's coming exclusively to Discovery Plus, a platform we don't talk about often, but they do appear here occasionally. And it's called Candy Coated Christmas. That's right, it's a Christmas movie, and we're giving 10 points to Discovery Plus for having a Christmas original. I need all the Christmas films.
Yes.
Right. We are here for it.
They're coming for you, Hallmark. Get ready.
Yep, totally. Here it comes. The Food Network taking on Hallmark Channel.
Love it.
No one saw that coming. Looking ahead into September, and these might be some shows you see us do some smaller videos about for Instagram and TikTok to come as we move into a new format. So let's kick this off. Sarah, do you want to start off this list?
Sure. So Cinderella is going to be coming to Amazon. It is a jukebox musical. So don't expect Disney. Don't expect Rodgers and Hammerstein. It is jukebox with all sorts of fun stuff that stars Camila Cabello, Idina Menzel, Billy Porter, and also, everyone's favorite cat, James Corden, coming ahead. So we'll talk about that later.
On September 3rd, right? To Amazon.
Oh, September 3rd. Sorry, I didn't get the date. My man, on September 3rd to Amazon.
Awesome. And then we've got the final season, Tears of Lucifer, hitting Netflix on September 10th.
So the next we've got Night Books, which is coming to Netflix September 15th.
Night Books is a really cute Halloween story that I actually really cannot wait to watch. Magic, witches, all of the things you want in it, and it's family friendly. It's going to be great. And Netflix killing it in September. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. This is not related to the Masters of the Universe Revelation that came out in July. It is an entirely separate series made by different people, coming September 16th.
Love it. The new season of the breakout hit of Apple TV, The Morning Show season 2, is going to come hit us on September 17th. That show is fantastic. The Morning Show is so good, and I can't wait for season 2.
Absolutely, right there with you. And then we've got the first ever Star Wars anime, Visions, dropping on Disney Plus September 22nd. That is Star Wars Visions coming out.
It's going to be a Marvel crossover. We'll find out.
I don't see that ever happening.
I know. You never know. And then we have finally Attack of the Hollywood Cliches coming to Netflix September 28th.
Which I'm actually really excited for. It's a comedy special being hosted by Rob Lowe. What's not to love about that? Boom. And that's it, y'all. That's the end of our final full-length streaming wars. All we have to do is crown a winner. And that winner is... What? It's Hulu. Hulu's first win on our final show. I'm here for it, though. Great programming. Congratulations, Hulu. And surprisingly, Netflix came in third, 1 point behind Disney Plus. Honestly, it's because of Kissing Booth. I would like to take a moment to thank everyone who has been watching this full-length series since we started in the middle of the pandemic. I'm so glad that you were here. You've been watching. I hope we've recommended some new shows to you. We aren't going away. We're just moving to a different format. So if you need shows to watch, make sure you find that hashtag show on Instagram and on TikTok. And we will see you guys real soon.